So I've now taken a 3/8 bolt, and I've cut a little 1/2 inch section, 2 sections of it, and this is going to act as our string holder for part of our trigger mechanism. And I'm just beveling the edges down so they're nice and smooth, so that way there's no edges that can catch on our string and make it wear down. This is especially when you don't want to wear gloves around power tools, because you can see how close my fingers are to that wheel, and if it catches on, it can drag my finger into that grinder. I'm now just going ahead and drilling a 3/8 hole to go with my little pieces of round rod, and I'm going to do that. You're going to drill those apart however width your bolts you plan to use. I plan to use 3/8 wood dowels for my bolt, so I made sure there's a 3/8 gap between each of these two posts. I just used a hammer and I just kind of lightly tapped them in. I didn't really need any kind of glue, they kind of fit snugly. I've taken another piece of the round rod I had left over from the 2 dowels, and I've gone ahead and drilled in the center. This is going to be our trigger. You can see it's kind of offset, it's closer to where the trigger, and I've just taken a kind of U-shaped nail and threaded it through the hole to create this seesaw. I'm now going to drill 2 points down where I marked that match up to the U nail. So now I need to epoxy the U-nail into the 2 holes to hold the trigger mechanism in place. I'm just going to evenly mix the 2 parts of the epoxy, and then just kind of scrape in the 2 ends of the U-bolt in the epoxy puddle, and then go ahead and just kind of wedge it down into the holes. Now you're going to want to let the epoxy sit for however long your epoxy says it needs to cure for. Try not to get any of the epoxy on the wood, because this will prevent the stain from being absorbed in those areas. I've now taken my prod and I've lined up 2 holes and marked them on the end of the stock. It won't fit into my drill press, so I'm going ahead and just do these ones by hand, trying to keep my hand as straight as possible and just go down in it. These are going to act as pilot holes for our 2 wood bolts that are going to hold the bow prod in place. I'm now using a drill bit rasp, which is a ball-shaped one, and I'm simply going to follow down the middle line that created from the 2 boards being seamed together. That line should run down perfectly in the middle of your board. I'm just kind of highlighting that line with the Sharpie, but with my phone eye in person I could see that line. So me drawing the Sharpie is more just so you guys can see it in the video. I'm then going to follow that line with the rasp and slowly get deeper and deeper, and as I go just really gouge down into that, and what that's going to create is a nice channel for your bolt to travel down. And I go sideways at first because the actual end of the drill bit acts as a stop so that the ball only goes so far down deep. And then once it's kind of just spinning in place and no longer taking any wood, I know I can go into a new section because that area is the right depth as all the rest. I'm now just going up and down with it and just kind of overall just making it really nice and smooth. I'm not really gouging deep into it. I'm just kind of smoothing it out so that way there's no areas or bumps or anything that the bolt could get caught on. And then taking my sander and just kind of sanding it all down and just making it all nice and smooth. So I'm just kind of going over it and getting any little last marks I might have missed. If you have any little drips of epoxy, make sure you sand those down so that way the wood can absorb stain.